I always thought honesty was the foundation of my marriage. For 10 years, I trusted my wife, Rachel, with a blind faith I hadn't even given myself. She was warm, articulate, someone who could walk into a room and make everyone feel seen. I was quieter, more reserved, running a small logistics business, while she worked in marketing at a major tech company downtown. One evening, as we were preparing dinner together, she casually mentioned her company's annual networking gala. "It's kind of a big deal this year," she said. "Spouses aren't required, but lots bring a plus one. You probably would enjoy it. Lots of business chatter, awkward laughs." I smiled, stirring the sauce, and said it was fine if she went alone. She nodded a little too quickly. "Yeah, I think that's better. You'd be bored out of your mind." At the time, I didn't notice the slight stiffness in her tone, or the way she avoided meeting my eyes. Love can dull your instincts. 2 weeks later, my business partner, Mark, mentioned he had an invitation through a client and suggested I attend. I hadn't thought about Rachel at first, but then it struck me. Maybe it would be fun to surprise each other, to see her in her professional element. I didn't tell her I was coming. I simply showed up. The gala was at a lavish downtown hotel, golden lights making the champagne sparkle. I wore my best navy suit, the one Rachel always said made me look like I had my life together. I scanned the room, expecting to find her among coworkers. Instead, I found her by the buffet, laughing a little too loudly at something a tall man in a gray suit said. At first, I dismissed it, but then she brushed his arm lightly in a way that felt intimate, familiar, the kind of touch that had once been mine. I approached carefully, not wanting to cause a scene. When she noticed me, her expression flickered, shocked, just for a second before she forced a smile. "Ethan, what are you doing here?" she asked. I smiled calmly and turned to the man beside her. "I'm David. I work with Rachel," he said, his face pale. I nodded. "Ah, Coworker David. Nice to meet you." Rachel's voice tightened. "Ethan, I didn't expect you. I thought you had meetings tonight." I shrugged. "They got canceled. Thought I'd surprise you." David cleared his throat and excused himself, almost spilling his drink in his hurry. Rachel crossed her arms. "That was unnecessary," I said. Why did he look like he'd seen a ghost if he was just a coworker? She muttered that I was being paranoid. The rest of the night passed in a haze of forced smiles and clipped sentences. Rachel stayed glued to her phone. I mingled, but I couldn't stop noticing her drifting, standing too close to someone else. I didn't confront her then. I waited. Silence often speaks louder than anger. The next morning, she left early, claiming a strategy meeting. I checked her location, not out of jealousy, but because deep down, I already suspected the truth. She wasn't at her office. She was at a nearby cafe, sitting across from David. I watched from my car as she leaned forward, whispering something that made him shake his head, looking panicked. Then she reached for his hand. That night, I sat at the kitchen table with 2 cups of coffee ready. She looked startled. "You're home early?" "Yeah," I said. "I wanted to talk." Her voice trembled as she spoke about confusion, about my supposed distance. The usual excuses. I listened until I couldn't anymore. Then I stood. "You made your choice, Rachel. I'm just catching up to it." I didn't yell. I didn't slam doors. I simply left. A week later, I ran into David at a client meeting downtown. He froze, expecting confrontation. I smiled. "Relax. I'm not here to ruin your career." He looked hollow. I believed him. "Funny thing," I said before leaving, "you probably thought you were taking someone else's happiness. In reality, you just took her last excuse for being miserable." He said nothing. His expression said it all. 6 months have passed. I moved out, sold the house, and started over in a smaller apartment closer to work. I don't check her social media. I don't wonder who she's with. The truth is, I didn't lose a wife that night. I lost a version of myself that confused loyalty with love. And in that loss, I found real freedom. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't anger. It's showing that peace suits you far better than guilt ever could.